professors, and participants. A very good morning to all in one. I am Dr. Indira Dikshit, felt privileged to welcome you all on second day of International Conference on Combination Transforming Business and Ethics in Context of Sustainable Development. Well, Albert Einstein said, if we knew what it was we were doing, it would not be called research, would it? It is an occasion like this we get opportunity to test our knowledge and understanding. We look forward to get an exposure about what the best of the brains thinks about this very dynamic issues of combination transforming business and I think context of sustainable development. Today's we with us our eminent honorable chief guest Dr. Abdul Ghaffar Marzuki sir from Indonesia, Dr. Sumanta Datta sir from Kolkata, and Dr. Pavnesh Kumar sir from Bihar. Very warm welcome all of you. Now I would like to invite Dr. Meena Prajapati madam to introduce honorable chief guest Dr. Abdul Ghaffar Marzuki sir. Meena Prajapati ma'am.
Thank you, Indra Dikshit ma'am. Good morning, everyone. Dr. Abdul Ghaffar Mazuki is a lecturer at the State Islamic University of Dhaka, Palu. Completed his bachelor and the master degree in English education at Tadulako University. Doctorate degree in instructional technology and Malang State University. And short course at Leiden University, Netherlands in 2016. Aside from being an academician, is also active as a writer, researcher in educational and the learning ELT, linguistic literature. He is also becoming reviewer of more 30 national and international journals. School accreditation assessor in the Central Solvency Province, research reviewer in the Ministry of Religious Affairs, reviewer in LPDP scholarship, facilitator of Sakharov and Great, and a core administration of several professional and social community organizations. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Abdul Zafar Muzaki. Sir, please come and give your speech.
Abdul sir. Dr. Abdul Ghaffar sir, are you here? Ajay sir? I think due to some technical issues are not connected with us. Moving forward, I would like to invite to Dr. Manish Khargonkar sir to introduce our honorable chief guest and guest of honor, Dr. Sumanta Datta sir.
Good morning, sir. Now I am audible, I think.
Yes, sir.
Yes. A very warm good morning to all, and I feel great pleasure to give introduction of our honorable speaker, Dr. Sumant Datta. Dr. Sumant Datta is presently associated with the Postgraduate and Research Department of Commerce, St. Xavier's College, Kolkata, under the University of Calcutta. He has over 19 years of experience in teaching and research. He has contributed three edited books, one case book, and one research book from a reputed publishing house of India. He has written a book titled Research and Publication Ethics in Social Science for MPhil PhD scholars, which was mandated by the UGC for pre PhD registration. Dr. Datta has also contributed more than 40 research papers in various national and international journals, including UGC CARE. He acted as a resource person on several national level workshops organized by various research bodies in India on the theme research ethics and way to write research papers in social science. He acted as a reviewer on invitation for a paper from the desk of editors in chief, the Journal of Indian and Asian Studies, Institute of Indian Studies, HUFS, Korea. At present, he acted as an associate editor of biannual peer-reviewed refereed journal named International Journal for Academic Research and Development. His work has been cited well both in SSRN top 10 download list as well as in Google Scholar. For his outstanding contribution in the field of marketing research, he got the National Education Leadership Award in 2019. He also obtained the Teaching and Research Award 2020, the Outstanding Postgraduate Faculty Mentoring Award 2020-21, and Education Excellence Award 2021. Sir, we are lucky enough to have a great speaker like you. I welcome you for your speech.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this kind opportunity. I am first of all, and thanks to Research Foundation of India, being the member of Research Foundation of India, the president of West Bengal wing, and I am very much thankful to Saurabh Jain sir, the CEO of Research Foundation of India, Ajay Jain sir, national coordinator of Research Foundation of India, the principal of Christian Eminent College, Dr. Rajesh Vyas sir, convener, Dr. Kiran V. Panchal, and all the dignitaries who are present right now in the online platform. So today, because my area of interest on research and publication ethics, I try to take care of one important dimension, that how we can manage the research ethics, particularly the plagiarism related issue, and what is the stakeholder viewpoint. So what the stakeholders should take into consideration. Just give me 1 minute time. I'd like you to share my PowerPoint with all of you. Can you see my PowerPoint? Hello, is it visible?
Yes, it is visible, sir.
Okay. So I have taken a topic very carefully because our theme of our conference is a combination and transforming business and ethics in the context of sustainable development. So when we talk about the sustainability, when we talk about the growth and development, we know that we cannot ignore our education, because which is the backbone of our society. But the most interesting part is that if we taken care of our new education policy as a whole, and I think as a researcher, as an academician, we are right now collaborate and contributed academically for the growth of our development of our nation, and we try to think a new India in the coming years to come. So when we think about the national education policy, if you go by the particular section called institutional reconstruction and consolidation, you have seen that we are moving towards a new journey. Professor is there and all other good dignitaries are there. They know that we are now thinking about a 4 years bachelor's program, and where if they got 7.5 CGPA, then automatically they can directly enroll in the PhD program. Okay, but yes, the parity should be maintained across India. Otherwise, 7.5 can anyone can get. Okay, nowadays. So how we can maintain this parity, and to what extent the undergraduate students who are coming directly to a PhD program from their 4 years completion of undergraduate level are the undergraduate courses or the teachers who are teaching in the undergraduate courses are aware of all the nitty-gritty of this particular research-related ethics. So, and when we think about this master's level, masters can be subdivided into two parts, 2 years and 1 year. 3 years bachelor's program, then automatically they can go for 2 years masters. Or if they go for 4 years bachelor with research, automatically they can opt for, in case, a 1 year master's program. So but somehow, if you go by this particular policy, research becomes an integral part as per the new education policy is concerned. So here in this context, when we talk about this research, because unethical practice can erupt at any phase of our research journey. Okay, that unethical practice can adopted by a researcher. The researcher can be only a research scholar. He can be a faculty member. He can be a teacher. So, I mean, research-related misconduct is not new. Now, you can ask me one question in this context: that why this misconduct arises? What is the problem of this misconduct, and why we taken or why we try to deal with the concept of this plagiarism issue in a more delicate way? Now, see, when we talk about this particular issue, you can think about the concept of scientific misconduct. Now, why it is arising day by day? We have seen now we are we the academicians are under constant pressure that we have to publish. I think all of you have go through the new guideline which was given by NAC on 27th of May 2022, where it is being specifically directed by NAC that we will consider only for NAC accreditation purpose of any institution only those publications in which journal which is listed in the UGC-CARE. That means NAC will not consider any other publication published in a journal which is not listed in UGC-CARE for the purpose of ranking of the institution. So automatically what happened, institution try to put pressure on their stakeholder. Here the stakeholder means the research scholar as well as the faculty members. So they are under constant pressure to publish. And automatically, with the limited number of good UGC-CARE journals available in this context, automatically the time to publish the paper it becomes very high. So automatically the waiting time is high, and we do not have the time to wait. We have to show that we are more vibrant academician. And as a result, somehow either we are taking the help of some other outsiders, or sometimes we can take the help of more plagiarism related issue to develop our papers, because we do not have time. We do not have the time to think. Now, in this context, when we talk about the concept out of the scientific misconduct, one most important and pertinent area was the research fraud. Now, out of these the fraud element, we have fabrication, falsification, and plagiarism. My main focus is on the plagiarism issue because that is very common and very rampant among the students, particularly the research scholars as well as the postgraduate students. And if you think about the new education policy, then we have to think about our undergraduate students so that they must be aware of this issue. So that is plagiarism. Now, what is plagiarism as per the extraordinary gazette that was published by UGC in 2018? It is given by the UGC the definition of the term plagiarism, an act of dishonesty and a breach of ethics. Now, what is ethical, I cannot teach you, because no one can teach that which one is ethical, which one is unethical. I can publish one paper which is already published in a local dialect. Okay, so there is a problem of this plagiarism. So when the concept of this plagiarism arises, I can take the help of some published and unpublished work, some idea and phrase of others, without any kind of citation or without taking any kind of permission from them, as if that I have written the entire thing of my own. So that is considered as plagiarism. Now, in this context, I try to put one question, one case study that I have developed, and it is available in my book. I have tried to put forth in front of the August gathering. Can you tell me what is the opinion of all the dignitaries who are present right now in respect of the question number B? If you can give me your opinion, I should be delighted. Only for the question number B. Hello?
Thank you so much, sir.
It is not audible.
Now I am audible.
Yes. Can you please tell me what is your observation in respect of question number B?
Question number B. Do you think Kaya should get punished for that?
Waiting for your valid response. Anyone from the session? I know everyone is more knowledgeable, more experienced. So if you can kindly share your opinion, valued opinion. Anyone? Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you are audible.
Can you please respond to answer number B, question number B?
Yes, sir.
Just your opinion. Do you think Kaya should get penalized for that? See, here lies the problem. Here lies the problem because see, when I got an opinion from different source that Kaya should be penalized. Okay. But before I penalize a person, before I penalizing our own student, whatever it may be, postgraduate or undergraduate or a research scholar, we have to see that to what extent we are taught them the lesson of ethics, the ethical side of research. If we not teach, elaborate, explain the consequence of this unethical practice, then we do not have the right to penalize them. So it is our moral responsibility as an institutional faculty members as an institutional mentor or researcher. It is our more responsibility towards our society to educate our undergraduate, final year undergraduate students, as well as postgraduate students, as well as research scholars, that this is the unethical practice. You cannot do that. Otherwise, you should be penalized. So here, my suggestion is that we will not penalize Kaya for that, but we will give him a lesson that what is the next consequence of this plagiarism related issue. Now, question that is the steadfast part, that what type of plagiarism done by the Kaya. Now, in order to understand the answer question number A, we have to see this various type of plagiarism code type format that is available. Patchwork plagiarism is very common among the students, and particularly among the research scholars when they are very close to their deadline. They collect the material from various sources, rearrange in the MS Word, and submit on the day of submission. So that is called a patchwork. Because in that patchwork, what happened, we have seen also, we have noticed also in respect of undergraduate students or in respect of research scholars, sometimes they try to take copy and paste from the Wikipedia, and all the details are available from the Wikipedia as well. So patchwork plagiarism, where appropriate citation, appropriate referencing is not able, he or she don't know where from he or she has taken the entire thing. Self-plagiarism is very common among the faculty members who wants to portray themselves, I am a vibrant researcher, because he has published one paper or she has published one paper, and then for the second paper, he just modified, he has taken the most of the result from their early and tried to submit as a new paper. So it is self-plagiarism, because in that case, you have not cited your early work. So earlier paper, you have to cite to avoid the case of self-plagiarism. It is also a very big problem for the most. I have seen so many cases of plagiarism in each and every day. It is possible, but if I go to minutely, I can find one case of self-plagiarism. Direct plagiarism means, see, you can take a word-to-word transcription. Now, I have an objection regarding that, but not I. I here refers to I follow the protocols of the COPE, Committee on Publication Ethics. Direct plagiarism, you can copy word by word. So you can ask me, sir, I am a law graduate, or if I am a Sanskrit student, or I'm a student from Urdu, so I have to quote something. Okay, I have to give something which is given in the different scriptures. So how I can put? Can I change it? I cannot change it. I have to put word by word. Yes, you can do that. In order to avoid this kind of direct plagiarism policy with the issue, you have a two type of policy we have. One is called short quote, one is called long quote. In case of short quote, if it is less than 40 words, we can put it within the double quote, and at the end of my quote, our quote, we can use some citation. The name of the citation is called parenthetical citation. But if the quote is long quote, long quote means if the number of words are there more than 40, then it becomes long quote. In case of long quote, you have to put it in a separate paragraph and make the paragraph italic, and then put the citation at the end of the quote by using parenthetical citation. This is called a way you can avoid the consequence of direct plagiarism. Accidental plagiarism happen. Sometimes you forget to cite the source, or okay, so it is not intentional. So that is why accidental plagiarism we are not considering. In majority of the cases, we taken care of patchwork, self, and direct plagiarism. But one plagiarism was there, which is totally different from the others, rest of the four, which is called mosaic plagiarism. Now, what is mosaic plagiarism? Suppose you came across a reference book, not textbook, wherefrom you got a very catchy phrase. And now, after 1 year or 2 years, you forget that you have read the book properly, but you remember the particular phrase and you use the phrase in your research paper, research article, or in your thesis as if that you have written that particular phrase for the first time. This is called mosaic plagiarism, and that is also an unethical practice from the viewpoint of UGC and from the viewpoint of COPE. Okay, so what are the different levels? We have different levels of penalty is there. Level 0, level 1, level 2, and 3. For 0 level, up to 10%, there is no penalty. It's imposed by UGC. 10 to 40%, we have to ask the research scholar, faculty members, or the undergraduate and postgraduate students to revise their manuscript within a period of extended 6 months. If the thesis, project, report, dissertation they have submitted to the institution, if the plagiarism was detected by the institution through their authentic institutional plagiarism software like Authenticate, Turnitin, or Urkund, which is 40 to 60%, then the students are debarred for submitting their thesis for a period of more than 1 year. But if it is more than 60% and above, then the registration of the particular scholar, student, faculty members shall be cancelled. But it totally depends on the policy of the institution as well as the recommendation of the committee. I'm coming to the next part in respect of this plagiarism level for the particularly for the research faculty members and particular research mentors. If it is being identified that the paper has been submitted to a journal, and after that the journal communicates to the institution that it is being plagiarized more than 10 to 40%, the institution can call the particular faculty member or research mentor and ask them to withdraw the manuscript from the said journal. But if it is 40 to 60%, which is identified, then there is a chance by the recommendation or the recommendation of the disciplinary committee, the institution can stop one annual increment, and the person, the mentor, or the research scholar, or research supervisor, or the faculty member are not allowed to supervise masters, MPhil, and PhD students for a period of 2 years. For 60% and above, 2 annual increment can be cancelled, and they are not supposed to undertake research for MPhil, PhD, and master's scholars for a more than period of 3 years. So we have the norms, we have the guideline as prescribed by 2018 by the UGC. But you can ask me one question. So if this particular problem is very pertinent, how we can avoid it? Our suggestion here, our means the COPE. Here, our means the UGC. They say paraphrasing can do that. You can read the paper and keep the essence of the paper and rewrite in your own language. But at the end of this, appropriate reference citation is become very important. Now, citation can be done at that time during the paraphrasing in the three possible ways. Citation can be at the beginning, citation in the middle, and citation at the end. But here, citation at the end should be an international standard that is called parenthetical citation rule. Okay, by that, so you can go for paraphrasing and you can avoid the problem of plagiarism related issue. So you can inform your students that you can rewrite the essence in your own language, but provided give citation at the end, which is known as parenthetical citation, so that they can avoid the burning issue of plagiarism. But you can ask me another question. So if it is plagiarism, which part is not plagiarism? Okay, different university, different institution, they follow different policy of checking the thesis or the dissertation report. Okay, generally, the rule which was given by UGC in 2018, they said that we have to exclude this following 4 points. All general terms, standard symbol like standard deviation, mean deviation, chi-square test, hypothesis. Okay, similarity, all small similarity, like the name of the college, Christian Eminent College, like the name of the college, St. Xavier's College. The similar minor nature, name of the only the term college. So we can avoid those things. All reference, preface, bibliography, and acknowledgement and table of content should be out of the preview of checking the thesis for plagiarism purpose. And if we have taken anything with due permission or any picture, diagram, tables that we have used with appropriate permission and attribution, these cannot be part of plagiarism related issue as specifically prescribed by the UGC. Okay, then how you can do that? The from the stakeholder viewpoint, I have two propositions. One from the faculty members, for the scholars, undergraduate and postgraduate students. Don't copy from in toto, word by word. Write out in your own language, so which is known as paraphrasing. Don't recycle image, figures, and table and text of okay, already that you have used for your earlier research work. Don't use it for your present research work. And last, fourth, which is very important, if you think that you have to take something from the others, some other papers, like the diagram, some paths they have developed, some comments they have given, take appropriate permission from those institutional journals or repository house, and then incorporate it in your paper. And then, so like if you take something from image, okay, so automatically you can use this image through Creative Commons license. Okay, so all those things you can do to avoid the case of plagiarism. So this one is for the scholars, for the postgraduate, undergraduate students, or for the faculty members point of view. What else institution can do? The second part of the stakeholder-centric approach. Institution, see, we have this policy of plagiarism. We are talking, I have talked so many places about the concept of plagiarism, but we need to implement the 2018 policy in proper way among all the institution and university level. That means we have to create an ethical committee. UGC has prescribed two type of ethical committee. One at the departmental level, suppose Department of Management must have their own departmental academic integrity panel, and one total for the entire organization or higher educational institution. That is called IAIP, Institutional Academic Integrity Panel. For the DAIP, there must be comprised of three members. One is the chairman. The chairman should be nominated as by the head. Head is nominated as the chairman. One member, one senior professor, senior academician from other department, not from the own department, but from the other department. He who was nominated by the head of the higher education institution. Head of the higher education means the principal of the college. And third member, three-member committee. Third member means a person who is well known the use of this plagiarism tool, and also that person should be nominated by the head of the department, head of the respective department. Okay. Now, out of these three members, two members can form the quorum of a meeting, which is a valid. Okay. And these two members will last for 2 years. Their in charge, their service should remain for coming 2 years only. Okay. Other than the excluding the term of chairman. For IAIP, Institutional Academic Integrity Panel, we must have 4 members. Out of the 4 members, the chairman must be either pro VC or maybe dean or maybe a senior academician of that institution. One senior academician other than the chairman who should be nominated by the head from the other department. Third member, any other member, he should be nominated by the principal or head of the institution, but outside your organization or outside your institution. Someone from other university, someone from other college. And last one, again, another person who is well known by the use of this plagiarism software tools, who has been nominated by the head of the institution. Okay, so with this, if we can follow the thing, I hope with this particular way, we can avoid the concept of plagiarism and we can create an ethical culture in our institution of eminence. Okay, where we are working and we can create a culture where we can uh, follow a particular ethical policy, not only for the faculty members, but also for the research scholar, but also for the senior faculty members, undergraduate students, and the postgraduate students at part. So this is my own observation related to plagiarism related issue in the context of stakeholder centric approach. With this, I am ending my presentation. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. If you have any question, please, the session is open for all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, firstly, sorry for inconvenience. Sir, thank you so much for your wonderful speech. Share with us very important topic, plagiarism issues, and explain your knowledge with your beautiful examples and case studies. Thank you so much, Datta sir.
Thank you.
Doctor, our chief guest and honorable guest, Dr. Abdul Ghaffar Marujiki sir, present here.
Okay, I am in, ma'am.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Welcome, sir. I would invite to Dr. Meena Prajapati ma'am for introduce Dr. Abdul Ghaffar Marujiki sir.
Thank you so much, Indra ma'am. Good morning, everyone. I feel great
Morning.
pleasure to introduce our today's eminent speaker, Dr. Abdul Zafar Marzuki. Dr. Abdul Zafar Marzuki is a lecturer at the State Islamic University of Dato Karma, Palu. Completed his bachelor and master degree in English education at Tadulaku University. Doctorate degree in instructional technology at Malang State University and short course at Leiden University, Netherlands in 2016. Aside from being an academician, he is also active as a writer, researcher in education and learning ELT, Logistics and the Literature. He is also becoming reviewer of more 30 national and international journal, school accreditation assessor in Central Sulawesi Province, religious affairs, reviewer in LPDP scholarship, facilitator of Sekala Pangrik, and a core administrator of several professional and social community organizations. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Abdul Zafar Marzuki. Sir, please come and give your speech.
Well, thank you, ma'am. Let me
Most
share
welcome, sir.
my PowerPoint presentation first. Okay, can you see my PPT?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Well, Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon from Indonesia. They are brothers and sisters in India. I do love watching Indian movies and songs. Shah Rukh Khan, Kajol, Preity Zinta, Arjit Singh are my idol. Well, thank you very much for this great opportunity given. I am Abdul Ghafur Marzuki from UIN Dato Karama Palu, Central Sulawesi, Indonesia, going to deliver and explore some ideas, points of view regarding to ethics in the context of education. I choose this title since my background knowledge is education, so I synchronize my expertise with the theme of this conference. So then I come up with the title Ethics in the Context of Education, Quality from the Learning Experience. Now we come up with the background of the study. Ethics is the common subject of almost all academic disciplines. However, the phrase quality in ethics education contains two major continuous debates. The first debate goes back to the time of Socrates, in which it was discussed whether or not ethics could be taught. In regard to this point, a general consensus has been reached that ethics can be taught even though there have been distinct arguments concerning the goals, models, and methods of ethics teaching. The second discussion is about the quality of education. Until recently, traditional approaches assessed education by mostly quantitative measures and focus on its productivity. Nevertheless, especially through UNESCO's endeavors, a humanistic perspective, which proposes the integration of learning individual practical skills with developing social competence, has emerged. This holistic approach is embodied in the Delors report's four pillars, namely learning to know, learning to do, learning to live together, and learning to be, from Bernard 2008. Therefore, the aim of quality of education may consider in accordance with the perspective of these pillars. Even though certain definition, dimensions, and models may be borrowed from other academic areas to draw a general framework for quality in ethics education, it would be prudent to explore the existing situations of ethics education to get a more concrete picture. Furthermore, without processing adequate data and information regarding the current ethics education programs and without utilizing actual experiences, it might be difficult to thoroughly appraise and measure the quality of ethics education. For this reason, the purpose of this paper was to preview the literature on ethics education, to look at the existing ethics teaching programs in order to figure out whether it is possible to explore some indications of what quality in ethics education is. Okay, next method. The study reviews the literature through concentrating on the ethics program's teaching scope, teaching method, and classroom model in the light of students and educators' perception, the performance of the programs, and the effectiveness of the programs. The teaching scope refers to the content of the programs, teaching hours, and teaching period where the course is placed. In other words, the phrase teaching scope indicates what, how long, and when ethics should be taught. The teaching method demonstrates the issue of how ethics should be taught, whether by traditional methods such as one-way lectures, homework readings, and writing exams, or through contemporary teaching styles like case discussions, small group debates, and oral presentation. The classroom model is about whether ethics education should be given as a pre-ethics course or as a concept of integrity into some other courses. Additionally, the issue of whether applying a conventional face-to-face classroom system or having online distance learning, and whether ethics courses should be required or elective, are examined under the classroom model. The methodology of this paper was developed through the utilization of the focus subjects of the review studies to evaluate the perception of students and educators, as well as the performance and effectiveness of the programs. In light of teaching scope, teaching method, and classroom model. Additionally, the relevance of perceptions, performance, and efficiency to the determination of quality and the examination of different processes in the identification and assessment of quality strongly persuaded the author to use this methodology and define ethics teaching into three categories: teaching scope, teaching method, and classroom model. So now we come up with the findings. The diversity of the studies in terms of their scope, methodology, and academic discipline and research area allows for making a broad picture of ethics education. However, it also obstructs the ability to make detailed inferences. Therefore, instead of healing every conclusion of each study, the most striking parts were consolidated to form worthwhile results. In this context, the highlight points of each study were systematically listed, and common matters were taken into account under the following subsequent subsections. Okay, now the findings refers to teaching scope. 19 studies points out certain issues about constituting an ethics curriculum, the basic features of content and teaching hours. The most emphasized matter is the need for creating a convenient and applicable ethics curriculum. 6 studies underscore the importance and necessity of generating a curriculum encompassing and demonstrating all the relevant subjects that are supposed to be taught. The content of the ethics programs is another point frequently emphasized. Contrary to the general assumptions that the teaching of ethical theories is not supported, six studies, four of which are about nursing programs, underpin the learning of ethical theories. These studies show an explicit demand for teaching theories with ethical principles and codes. The international research study in public relations carried out by Austina and Cott demonstrates that educators expect to be fine balance between theory and application. The teaching of ethical principles and professional codes are also welcomed by both educators and students. However, it is an intriguing finding that the studies in nursing and psychology accentuate the learning of ethical principles and codes more than other academic fields. This situation may be due to that in comparison with some other academic disciplines, ethical disciplines and professional ethic codes have been much more grounded in medicine and health sciences. Next, the findings regarding to teaching method. The teaching method of ethics is an important as teaching scope for the effectiveness of education. Teaching scope demands a well-designed curriculum, whereas the teaching method refers to the ways of actualizing the curriculum. A well-structured curriculum may not produce successful consequences without applying appropriate methods. In this concept, the studies illustrate largely the implementation or recommendation of lectures, 5 studies, case-based teaching, 5 studies, group discussions, 5 studies, and assigned readings, three In other words, through educators and students' approaches toward teaching methods differ slightly among distinct studies, lecture types, case-based teaching, and group discussion are most apply or demanded methods. Next, finding regarding to classroom models. There is an obvious request for increasing numbers of ethics-related courses and courses hours. However, there is not a consensus on the classroom model of ethics education. Some educators and students are proponents of having separate ethics courses, whereas some others support the integration of ethics into the whole curriculum. In other words, through educators and students argue different views on whether ethics education should be given as a separate course or integrated course. They agree on providing more ethics education. On the other hand, Rush et al. Claim that ban increase in the absolute number of ethics-related courses might be misleading, as effective change needs to address the underlying structure of a curriculum, like in terms of address disciplines, may not only the number of courses. Therefore, ethics education doesn't only need qualitative increases, but also requires qualitative improvements. The issue of whether having face-to-face ethics courses or online courses is another subject of the classroom model. Instead of asserting an alternative to a classical classroom system, some Some studies recommend online sources as supplementary to reinforce existing ethics education. Next, finding regarding to perceptions. The perception of educators and students are crucial in ethics education. If an educator trusts a content and teaching method of a curriculum, she or he would be more productive. On the other hand, without students' perceptions of the usefulness of the teaching style and content, it would be difficult to contribute to students as much as expected. Students' active participation in courses is essential in terms of effectiveness of teaching ethics. The studies explicitly indicate 2 points. The first one is that educators and students believe that ethics teaching positively influence students' ethical awareness, knowledge, and reasoning, but more ethics education should be provide to enhance students' ethical understanding. Next, ladies and gentlemen, this is the finding regarding to performance. The performance of the current programs illustrates how well the programs work. Therefore, without implementing a program, it is not possible to evaluate its performance. As the studies reveal that even some medical and nursing programs still do not offer formal and separate ethics courses, or the existing ethics teaching in unstructured in these programs. Of course, ethics is not only issue in medicine and health sciences. In the light of contemporary moral values, ethics is operative in all academic disciplines. Nonetheless, in comparison with several other fields, the confrontation of health professionals with ethical challenges is highly more likely due to the number of people and methods they encounter. However, an international survey in laboratory medicine training programs demonstrates that the majority of the programs do not have formal ethics teaching. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now findings regarding to effectiveness. Effectiveness refers to the results of an implemented ethics program. The distinction between performance and effectiveness might be confusing. However, in this paper, the term performance points out the application of a program regardless of its consequences, whereas effectiveness looks into the outcomes of a program. In other words, performance focuses on whether a program is applied successfully, while effectiveness concentrates on whether the result of an implemented program are effective. In this context, the majority of the studies, in this case of 15 studies, underscore the effectiveness or ineffectiveness of certain parts of the ethic programs. 15 studies find that particular methods of ethics teaching create positive consequences. In other words, an overwhelming number of studies accentuate that ethics education significantly increase students' ethical awareness, reasoning, sensitivity, judgment, knowledge, perspective, and personal values. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we came up with the conclusion. The findings demonstrated that through the necessity and usefulness of ethics education were confirmed by all the parties, the perception of the students, educators, and authors on the ethical the quality of the current programs indicated that there was still a great deal of room for improvement. Additionally, although the students, educators, and authors largely believed that ethics education was effective in enhancing ethical awareness, knowledge, and reasoning, certain shortcomings in the determination of teaching scope, teaching methods, and classroom models affect the results of ethics teaching and learning. The lack of dedicated time for ethic courses, the lack of educator skills and experience in ethics, and the lack of formal ethics education were negative factors that influence the performance of the programs. The studies showed that case-based teaching was the most desirable model. However, for a comprehensive understanding of ethics, an appropriate integration of theories and cases were also supported. Moreover, ethical principles and code-oriented teaching was welcomed by students. Even though there was an obvious need for formal ethics education, there was no concurrence on the issue of whether ethics education should be given as a standalone course or integrated in relevant courses. The review studies didn't provide sufficient indication to explain what quality in ethics education is and which standards and indicators it has. However, the studies gave an opportunity to see students and educators' perceptions and expectations about ethics education as well as the performance, benefits, shortages, and shortcomings of the current ethics programs, which may help to draw a general framework as a starting point for examining quality in ethics education. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you have anything to be discussed, don't hesitate to contact me in my email gbudipurwira@gmail.com. So that's all my presentation. Thank you very much and good afternoon, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. You shared with us ethics, teaching methods, and scopes of teaching pedagogies. Thank you so much. Your session very fruitful for us, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome, ma'am. Most welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would invite to Professor Kulkit Yadav, sir, to introduce our session chair and chief guest, Honorable Dr. Pavnesh Kumar, sir.
Good morning, all. It is an immense pleasure that I have got the opportunity to introduce renowned guest Dr. Pavnesh Kumar. Dr. Pavnesh is a experience of more than 17 years. Sir held various positions like Dean of School of Commerce and Management at the Department of Management and Business and he is the life member of Indian Accounting Association, India Association for Education Research, Indian Accounting Association Foundation, founder secretary of Mahamana Maharashtra and Samarkand, having more than completed many research projects and participated in more than 30 international and national words are not enough to explain the achievement of such a renowned without it. I would like to invite Dr. Abdul to please enlighten us with your words of wisdom.
Pavnesh sir, are you here?
Yes, ma'am. Please.
Jay sir, welcome sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. My voice is audible, ma'am. My voice is audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. First of all, I would like to congratulate Asian Eminent College Indore and the Research Foundation of India for organizing a 3-day international conference on combination, transformation, business and ethics in the context of sustainable development. So I hope it has been selected after so many deliberations also. And I hope that the research scholars, students, faculty members who have joined this seminar, they might have got some beautiful insights from the lecture delivered by Dr. Suman Datta and also by Mr. Abdul Gafur, who is actually it is international conference because this Abdul Gafur ji is from Indonesia, and I know personally, I know Dr. research. He has authored very good book also. It is recommended. Have been covered by Dr. Suman Abdul Gafur. Uh, Abdul, you know that from the coming will be fulfilled through national eligibility test. The new draft regulation is also coming. It is draft regulation. Now the total 2 years for the PhD, so it will be the minimum time. I hope it is reduced from 3 years to 2.5 years. And is because the undergraduate and postgraduate colleges are going on in most of the states where the associate professors in the colleges they are promoted to professors. In Delhi University, it has already been done. In Uttar Pradesh, in most of the colleges, the promotion. Okay, because the professors their eligibility is very high.
Once myself, Dr. to the entire fraternity of the Christian Eminent College who have provided me golden opportunity to deliver my views on the topic soft skills, a beacon for better future. I get overwhelmed. I get enchanted that this so valuable session has been organized in collaboration of Research Foundation of India as well as Christian Eminent College on the topic that is a combination transforming business and ethics in the context of sustainable development. Yeah, in this competitive era where and if one has
has to thrive, if one has to sustain the if one has to face the challenging time, one must have to be skilled of. One have to develop extraordinary abilities that is called soft skills. Now let me share what are soft skills. Soft skills are those non-technical personality specific traits which which harness the candidate to perform well in any area. Soft skills
Excuse me,
are
ma'am.
not
Sharda ma'am.
like technical or job related skills which are only mentioned in the resume, which are like education.
Sharda ma'am.
Yeah,
Ma'am, your PPT is not visible.
not visible.
Yes, ma'am. Please share your screen.
Yeah, one second.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, I will request you to be very precise and brief as far as your presentation is concerned. Dr. Sharda.
Taking very less time. I'm talking about soft skills, which are quite essential in today's competitive era. So these are not like technical and job related skills, which are though must in today's world to get a job. But contrary to that, soft skills are also essential for development of personality. So these are not like I'm getting diverted a little bit, let me know. These are soft skills refer to personality traits which include discipline, obedience, punctuality, body language, eye contact, etc., which determine one's strength. So if these technicalities, if these qualities are going to be developed, one will surely and certainly climb the ladder of success in coming future. Next. Now, is it visible, ma'am? One second. Wait. Second. Now, if you want to know that how can you identify your soft skills, then you have to think over that what are the different kinds of soft skills which you are going to use in your daily life. For example, have you utilized your time? Have you got punctual in your today's life? Have you updated yourself by reading the newspaper? Have you got informations which are relevant for your studies and for your career? So these personal traits will make you unique. You have to ask your friends to point out your good and not so good traits, whether it is going to be helpful or beneficial to or not. Then you have to train yourself. In order to develop your soft skills, you have to train yourselves. You have to how you are going to manage your time, how our great leaders, they have saved their time from their very hectic schedule, and they have worked hard, and they have created a record, they have created a target for their coming generation. So one has to be very, very punctual for managing the time. Then practice the habit of getting feedback. Human being, they are bound to do error, they are bound to commit mistake. So one has to get the feedback, one has to accept the faults, and that way you have to rectify and correct and you have to progress, because unless until you are going to accept the wrongs, you can't
accomplish to decrease work-life balance in workplace. And the third one is to recommend the steps to overcome the negative work-life balance. The methodology which has been used is past writing, diaries, webs are taken, and journals are taken for the studies. The what are the then, sorry sign of unhealthy work-life balance, that is weariness. First one is weariness, when work expends time frame, reliability, and disregards as far as possible between our work and home life, we encounter physical and mental exhaustion. Second one is non-attendance. At point when we neglect to build up limits between the work and home life, it leads to miss various significant occasions that harms the association with the family and the friends. And third one is no companionship. By investing the entire time and energy in our vocation, we do not devote and develop our friendship. The companions are the one who helps in getting segregations away, because of high pressures. with with the work overload, we miss all this. We are not able to make a companion and the friends properly. The workload increment, that is, the more hour we work at workplace, the more reliability we get, but and the more remuneration also we get in terms of in offices. But uh, the more obligation, that leads to no work life balance and can give you more stress and health problems. Changing workplace for work life balance, there are different ways to change the work life balance in a proper working place. That is, we can limit our working hours, and second, we can encourage employees to be more open to issues in the work, that where employees can coordinate with the managers and can tell their issues related to their work. Third, they can develop the arrangement perceives in the relationship of mental issues and business related stress. And fourth, we can give training to managers to assist with spotting helpless work life balance and parity and stress. Fourth, we can monitor routinely work pointers like non-attendance, staff fulfillment, etc. Next is recommendation to overcome stress to have balanced work life balance. First one is give employees weekly time to allow them to manage their timings. When convincible, consolidate work from home strategy. We can give the employees the work from home facility, which is nowadays very common. And we can give daycare accessible to staffs at a limited rates, like so that they can manage their work and family life equally together. Give the presentations and recognition to the employees at the special occasion. We can give high performance employees and families high performance employees family a tour or a gift, so that they can get uh, recognition or in the family, and as well as in work life balance. Allow rotational work to the employees, that they should given a rotational work, so that they can prioritize their work as well as their personal life proper. And and hence it is concluded that the proper work life balance will lead to organizational performance, high organizational performance. It is very important for one to maintain work life balance, as physical and mental peace will help the employee perform very high and yield that will yield high for the organization, and for the betterment of the organization. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Pavnish sir, Dr. Pavnish sir. Wait a minute, ma'am.
Yes.
Dr. Pavnish sir, are you here?
Yes, ma'am. Dr. Dipti,
Yes, please.
could you give some important conclusions which you have made, one or two conclusions?
That if we will all the proper work life balance to the employees, then it can lead to lower the absenteeism will be lowered, the risk of burnout will be lowered, and the employees will perform high, and which will lead to the betterment of the organization.
Dipti, do you think that for the work-life balance, it's not only the organization but also the individual is responsible?
Yes, sir, both are responsible. Individual is of course responsible, because the more stress he takes in the work, the more he gets involved into the pressure of more he gets involved into the pressure to manage work and family life.
Because it is an individual issue also.
Yes,
Have you conducted any survey in this regard of any case study?
so case studies has been taken.
Have you gone through any case study related to work-life balance?
Yes, sir, I have gone through many cases.
Why didn't you select any case study? Because you are located in Dehradun.
Yes,
There
sir.
are many organizations there. You might have conducted some case study also.
So personally, I have not conducted it. I have taken this secondary data.
It's okay, but there are many organizations
Yes,
located
sir.
like ONGC is there in Dehradun.
Yes, sir.
Already ONGC is there. You
Yes,
might
sir.
have conducted some case study or some survey or something like that
Okay, so
related to work-life balance.
okay, so I'll do that. I have not done that, but I'll do that also.
Because it will add value to your career
Value.
as a
Yes,
researcher.
sir. This I'll take this into points, sir.
Already there is big corporate house like ONGC is located in. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll take this into points, sir.
Best wishes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. I
Thank you
hope in
so
the
much.
next conference, whenever you attend, you come up with some case study or like that.
Yes, sir. I'll surely come with case studies.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dipti ma'am. Thank you, Pavnesh sir. Now I invited Dr. Galen Mathis from CV Raman University. Dr. Galen Mathis.
Yeah, ma'am. Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Good afternoon, sir. You are ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Just hold on a second. Let me share the screen. Yeah, ma'am. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Am I visible and audible?
Sir,
Is my screen visible?
your PPT is not visible, sir.
It's not visible. Just a second. Is it now, ma'am? Visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone present over here, all the dignitaries. Uh, this is Dr. Glenn Matthias, Associate Professor in Dr. C.V. Raman University. Um, uh, I would like to present my paper on the topic financial planning and financial security. This is a study on the teachers working in education sector in the district. So let me go take to the presentation over here. Uh, we all know what is financial planning. So financial planning is futuristic. It brings security to your life. We plan for many things. It can be for saving, insurance, and your investment, your retirement plans, building up estates, and your taxation plans, and many more. So to fulfill these plans, you put in so much of your decision-making process and your financial um, knowledge just to secure yourself and to be more financially stable and have a better financial well-being. So my paper is supposed to throw a light on the financial planning and the financial well-being among my sample, the respondent, and the problem that these people are facing in terms of financial planning and also in terms of financial well-being. The importance of this research paper is crucial because everybody know that we need to be very financial stable for our future uncertainties. So financial interdependence goes with financial well-being. This is a basic assumption which is to a certain extent justified too. So there are many social economic constraints in the economy and the society that plays pros and cons to this financial objectives. So financial planning is critical to be very financially secure and stable, especially in these times when we have seen that we've gone through COVID-19, and in the near future also there might be certain uncertainties and turbulences. So the objective of the study is to determine the respondent level of financial planning and financial security, one, and second, to determine the association between this financial planning and the financial security across different sectors. When I talk about different sectors, I mean, sorry, not sectors, so sorry, different level. When I mean different level, that means on categorized on different parameters. So what hypothesis is being taken over here is a null hypothesis, and it is like need to be that hypothesis goes like the level of financial planning has no statistically significant differences in financial security. So it is like an association that needs to be figured out between the financial planning and financial security part. The research methodology part is descriptive and analytical. The method used was a primary data collection technique with a well proper structured questionnaire to look into the reliability and the validity of the question. Cronbach alpha test was performed, and the scores were above 0.69. The population was taken from the Khandwa district. Sample was 300. Sample questions. Question is distributed to the samples and the respondent through Google form, but only 201 respondent actually turned up, and these were the properly filled questionnaire that was a part of the study later on. These questions were basically drawn based on 5-point Likert scale, and the responses were then collected. Let us begin with the two variables over here. First is your financial planning. So financial planning as such is nothing but to forecast your future, to get yourself prepared for the future uncertainties, and that too, it can be both ways for certain uncertainties which are negative and uncertainties which you might think that can be a positive attribute for your uh, future. That can be in terms of investment, taxation, saving, retirement, any sort of planning in terms of insurance and estate planning, etc. So the respondent have given this particular information, which I have disclosed in the form of a pie chart. You can see over here that 37.31% of the respondent belong to the medium level or the moderate level of financial planning. So
Excuse
they
me,
plan,
Dr. Glenn,
they
sir.
plan. Sorry,
Sir, please change your PPTs.
I'm changing my PPTs. On which slide I am right now?
So only first CD, your first
I'm
PPT
changing.
is
Just a
visible.
second. Let me again start my screen sharing part because
Yes.
I was changing my PPTs over here. Just a second, ma'am. Is it visible right now?
Visible, sir. Visible.
Just check it once, ma'am. Is the slide moving ahead?
Sir,
Is it?
clearly seen, sir.
Yeah, fine. So so sorry, I was not able to share the screen, but I'll move forward from here itself only. I was talking about financial planning. Financial planning is actually planning for your future. It can be for various reasons. It can be for investment, taxation, your saving, retirement, any sort of insurance or any sort of plan that will bring you security in the upcoming future years. So the respondents were asked question based on such parameters. and this is the result that has been disclosed on the screen. Basically, financial planning was categorized in three level: low level, moderate level, and high level. As you can see on the screen, it clearly shows that 37.31% of the respondent has given answers which make them fall under the category of moderate level of financial planning. So they plan, but the planning is moderate. They doesn't means they are not planning is like not foolproof, and they know the importance of planning, but still it is an ongoing process. Lot of pros and cons are still going over there. So 37.3%, 31% of people and the respondent plan, but the level is moderate. Secondly, uh, let us talk about financial planning in terms of magnitude. As you can see, the question that were raised to these respondents were on the saving habits, investment habit, insurance, the borrowing habit, the taxation planning they do for the payment of tax, mostly retirement planning, property and estate planning, and most importantly, not to plan, but to abide that plan, how properly they are abiding those plans and consistently following those plans. And in terms in future, they need to revise those plans, how good they are in those revisions. So these are the parameters on which they will ask question, and you can see the result over here that mostly 182 18.2. So sorry, I'm so sorry over there that heading has been interchanged. The percentage is on the middle column and the number of respondent is on the right side over there. Please excuse me for that. So as you can see, 90% and above people do save, but as you can see over there, the obedience of plan is only 17.91%, which says that probably we all plan for certain things, but we are not uh, abiding and following those plans on a rigorous basis over here. This shows that our planning is moderate. We are not able to cope up with those uncertainties that are coming in future, and that we should be making revisions in our plan. So I guess this is clear from this particular slide. Moving ahead, the second parameter, the variable is financial security. As said earlier, financial planning will bring financial security because they are both associated and interrelated. What does security mean? Security can be in any form. It can be physical security, it can be an emotional security, it can be a mental security. Okay, so financial security refers to having a sense of security, and then you should have that particular amount of liquidity in your hand that you can meet your future demands in terms of monetary matters. So that brings to the topic of financial decision, financial flexibility, and other stuff. We can see over here in a pie chart, the level of financial literacy is 36.33%, that too reflecting a low level of financial security. Earlier, it was like we do save, but saving is not only a part of financial security. So we do say we do have plan, but still we are not calling ourselves financially secure. This can be reflected from the data itself over here. Moving ahead, the next part was to test the hypothesis, that is the association between financial planning and financial security. That means your H0 was the level of financial planning has no statistically significant differences in financial security. For this particular thing, Tushkal-Wallace test H was performed because the data was not normally distributed. So we can go for a non-parametric test over here to find out the association because the sample size also differed. So as you can see over here, there is a relationship chart disclosed been over here between financial security and financial planning, and low, medium, high level of mean rank is been disclosed over here with a value of 116.59 for low financial security, low financial planning, and a value of 273.88 as mean score, mean rank for financial security and financial planning in high financial ratios. Along with that, chi-square is also been calculated, which came down to 140.157, and the degree of freedom was to keeping significance level 0. Next, to conclude, we can say that financial planning does brings financial security, but a moderate level of financial planning will not definitely bring financial security. The problems are basically that we don't plan, but we do plan, but we are not providing the plan on a very rigorous basis for the very longer period of time. So those respondents, those who are teaching in school, those teachers, those who are teaching in school, probably they belong to any sort of domain. They know about financial planning, but they are not following it on a rigorous basis. That brings to the conclusion that respondents have a very moderate level of financial security, but there is definitely a substantial positive association and correlation between financial planning and financial security. That's all from my end. Thank you for your patience listening. Hello. 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 Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, I'm done with my presentation.
Thank you, sir. Pavnesh, sir?
Dr. Glenn, there is one question from my
Yeah,
side. Your topic was what was your topic?
I'll take you back to your topic, sir. Just a second.
Please.
Yeah, it is financial planning and financial security. A study
So,
on teachers working.
what was
Yes, sir.
your area of sample?
My sample was those teachers those who are working in schools and colleges in Khandwa district.
Dhanbad.
Correct, sir.
Which district? Dhanbad district?
Khandwa district, sir. Khandwa.
Khandwa district. So why didn't you mention the name of the district and a study on of teachers working in educator sector? If somebody is
I have
teacher,
mentioned that. I
he
have
will
mentioned for
actually work in the education sector.
correct, sir. As you can see on the slide right now in the research methodology part, I have disclosed that I have taken teachers who are teaching in Khandwa district.
No. It should come in the topic itself that your study is limited to the Khandwa district of Madhya Pradesh.
Yeah,
I hope Khandwa is involved.
I agree to that, sir. But what was going in my mind is actually I want to take this topic to a very higher level. Like I would like to have a multi-stage or cluster sampling again on this particular topic, so that a generalized theory can be performed.
Okay,
but
so
that point in mind of yours.
there is last question. What is the relationship between financial security, financial literacy, and financial planning?
See, my variables right now is financial planning and financial security, but obviously it brings to the topic of financial literacy also. We generally see if a person is financially literate, he will definitely plan. He will have financial planning, but it doesn't mean that okay the work is done. It should be in such a manner that it is an ongoing process, and that brings financial security then to your life and to your neighborhood.
Can you
Obviously, there is a
suggest, because here
correlation between all these
students
variables.
also, can you suggest any course which is related with financial planning which is available?
Sir, there are so many courses right now going on, right from IIMs to your online courses to your MOOC courses and to your courses like in Coursera and other stuff. These are short-term courses. The students can avail for these questions. They can get an insight about what is financial literacy and how to plan and how to be very financially secure.
Dr. Glenn, there is one course known as Certified Financial Planner. It is conducted by Financial Planning Standard Board.
Yes.
So I hope this is the best course which can be recommended for the students. In short, it is known as CFP, Certified Financial Planner.
Correct, sir. Yeah, you have personal finance planners also. I recommend students like to start with basic planning and literacy courses, then go ahead with all these certified and a very detailed course later on.
Okay, thank you so much. Best wishes.
Thank you, sir.
Over to you, Dr. Indra.
For being with you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Ma'am,
Pavnesh, sir.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Glenn, sir.
Ma'am, should I close the slide right now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just a second.
Dr. Sanjit Singh are here. Sanjay Singh Deshmukh ji.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Are you ready? Are you ready for presentation?
Yeah, ma'am, I'm ready for the presentation.
Okay, you can start now.
Okay. The title for my research paper is The Sustainable Rural Development Through Irrigation and Agriculture. Agriculture, with its allied sector, is unquestionably the largest livelihood provider in India. The sector accounts for 20.19% of India's gross domestic product and employs just a little less than 40% of country's workforce. So, sustainable technologies such as soil conservation, sustainable natural resources management, and biodiversity protection are essential for holistic rural development. The objectives of my study is first objectives is to know the irrigation facilities and potentials. Second objective to explore the agricultural and rural market. Third objective is to know the importance of agriculture in rural development. Fourth objective is to study the challenges for promoting sustainable agricultural and rural development. The last objective of my study is to study the present and the future indicators of sustainable agriculture and rural development. Uh, the research methodology, the data used for the research is based on the secondary data. The primary source of my information in this research study is the secondary. The available information on the internet used to complete this report. All the available journals, articles, papers, book provided necessary information to the study. The irrigation sector in India, about 80% of the current water use is drawn by agriculture. Irrigated area accounts for nearly 48.8% of the 140 million hectare of agricultural land in India. The remaining 51.2%, the overall irrigation efficiency of the major and medium irrigation project is estimated to around 38%. And the second one is the agriculture sector in India is the primary source of livelihood for India in respect of agriculture sector is 58% of the country's population. The total food grains provide production in India reached at all-time high of 314 million tons in financial year 2020 and 22. The country is among the 10 leading exporter of the agriculture product in the world, with total agriculture export expanding at a compound annual growth rate of 29.3% to $46.3 billion over financial year 2020 and 21. The foreign direct investment in food processing industry has increased to 86% during April to September in financial year 2022, touching $410.62 million compared to $220.42 million in the corresponding period of the previous year. The strategies to promote for promoting a sustainable agriculture and rural development is due to poor productivity of land, water resources, and livestock, and insufficient use of forest, along the lack of capability and inadequate resources, it is difficult for small farmers to earn their livelihood. Realizing this serious situation, poverty alleviation has been the major agenda of the government of India. Thus, various community development programs were initiated to build the capabilities of the poor. These programs provided skill-oriented training and supply critical agriculture inputs either free or at subsidized cost. Future prospect and solution for sustainable agricultural and rural development in India. According to me, agriculture sector is an important contributor to the India economy around which socioeconomic privileges and deprivation resolve, and any changes in its structure is likely to have a corresponding impact on the existing pattern of social equity. Sustainable agriculture Sustainable agriculture production depends upon the efficient use of soil, water, livestock, plant genetics, forest, climate, rainfall, and topology. Indian agriculture faces resource constraint, infrastructural constraint, institutional constraint, technology constraint, and policy included induced to be limited. Sustainable development is the management and conservation of the natural resource base and the orientation of technology and institutional change in such a manner as to ensure the attainment and continued satisfaction of human needs for the present and future generation. Hello.
How Sanchit, it is over?
Yeah, ma'am, it's over.
Okay. Pavni sir, any questions, sir?
The house is open for questions from the audience also. If somebody from the audience is interested, may ask the question.
Any participants?
Hello.
We may go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Now I am invited Dr. Manish Khargonkar, sir. Dr. Manish Khargonkar, sir, are you here?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, please start your presentation.
Am I audible, ma'am? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Manish Khargonkar, Associate Professor, Management Department, Christian Eminent College, Indore. And I am presenting a case study, that is Indore Urban Cooperative Bank Limited, a case study. Abstract of the case: Indore Urban Cooperative Bank Limited was a 30 years old urban cooperative bank in Indore. It was providing all types of banking services to its customers. It belonged to the non-scheduled urban cooperative bank category. Since last few years, the financial performance of the bank was not satisfactory. Here, I would like to mention that cooperative banking sector is one of the very important banking pillar of our economy, and it is particularly important because the urban cooperative banks, which are those banks who are situated in urban area, and rural cooperative banks are situated generally in the rural area. And the specialty of this urban cooperative banks is that the people of our society who belong to lower and middle class, they are mainly associated as customers and the members of the cooperative banks. So it is very important to study the uh, functions and financial performance of the urban cooperative banks. That is why I was motivated to prepare this case study. Secondly, the Indore Urban Cooperative Bank is a belonging to non-scheduled category. There are two main categories in the cooperative banking sector: scheduled cooperative banks and non-scheduled cooperative banks. I would like to make it clear that the banks which belong to the city, or a management which is elected by the members in the city, and they do not have any branches outside the city, they are called non-scheduled urban cooperative banks. And in the category of scheduled banks, we include those banks according to Reserve Bank of India. Also, there are some rules to which segregate these banks into this particular category. If a bank has the time and demand liabilities of above 100 crore rupees, then it can apply to the Reserve Bank of India for inclusion in the scheduled bank category and the Reserve Bank of India, if permits, then such types of bank can open its branches in all over the country. But the urban cooperative banks, the non-scheduled urban cooperative banks like Indore Urban Cooperative Bank, are not interested in opening their branches in the uh, outside area. So they are still in the non-scheduled category. Since last few years, the financial performance of the bank was not satisfactory. Now the case study begins. Mr. Anil Joshi was a CEO of the bank. He joined the bank 20 years ago as a passing officer, and later he was promoted as a branch manager and then chief executive officer of the bank. He was worried about the financial performance of the bank. The CEO was worried about the financial performance of the bank, as he was emotionally very much concerned with that particular organization. Before beginning the financial performance study, I would like to sum up the history of cooperative movement in India, because there is a word that is Cooperative Bank Limited in this particular bank. As we all know that all banks are eligible, or they must have the banking license from the Reserve Bank of India. The cooperative banks are also taking the banking license from the Reserve Bank of India, but there is a word of cooperative in their title because they are established under the State Cooperative Act. Like in Madhya Pradesh, we had the MP State Cooperative Act 1969, and under that, all the cooperative banks in Madhya Pradesh are being established. The origin of the cooperative banking in India can be traced to the end of 19th century. I am not talking about only the cooperative banking sector, but the overall cooperative movement in India. Mainly, this movement was inspired from the cooperative movement in England and Germany. The small cooperative societies later became banks. Previously, in the end of 19th century, the some small cooperative societies which were established, and they applied when their transactions, their number of customers was increased. Then they applied to the Reserve Bank of India that you should grant us the banking license, and then they were converted into the banks. Before 1966, only state government was the authority for the cooperative banks. But from 1st March 1966, the Reserve Bank of India also became the regulatory authority for them. As we all know, that Reserve Bank of India is a central bank of India, which is responsible for maintaining and taking care of the overall banking environment in our country. And the Reserve Bank works according to the directions given by the Finance Ministry. So from 1st March 1966, the cooperative banks came under dual control. They are just like the Reserve Bank of India as well as the state government. Uh, the cooperative department and Reserve Bank of India both conduct and control the audit of these cooperative banks every year. Every year, the cooperative banks are being audited by the auditors who are sent by the Reserve Bank of India. As at the same time, the state cooperative department is also responsible to send the auditors, which are generally sent by the district registrar office into the cooperative bank, and they are uh, responsible for the audit and to measure the financial performance of the cooperative bank. The cooperative department awards the grades to the cooperative banks after the audit. It awards the grades from A to D to these banks as per their financial performance. Now, I would like to explain the meaning of the various grades like A, B, C, D. If a cooperative bank gets a grade, then it means that it has an excellent financial performance. Secondly, if it is B grade, then it is good performance. Then, if it is a C grade, then the performance of the bank is satisfactory, but the attention of management as well as the staff is required. It is a sign of danger. And if the cooperative department gives D grade to a particular cooperative bank, then it means that the financial performance of that bank is totally unsatisfactory, and the Reserve Bank also conducts the audit of the urban cooperative banks. If the Reserve Bank is also dissatisfied with the financial performance of that particular cooperative bank, then they may go for cancellation of the license of that particular cooperative bank. Here, I would like to make it clear that if a license of a cooperative bank is being cancelled, then that bank start facing various difficulties, and the people who have kept their deposit with that particular bank, who are the customers, they are also in problem. Now, Indore Urban Cooperative Bank is 30 years old. It had total 45 employees and no new appointment since last 8 years was made. The bank provided savings, fixed and recurring deposits to the customers and members. At the same time, it also gives advances like cash credit, overdraft, consumer loans, term loans, and all these. Secondly, the specialty of the cooperative bank is that they give the small types of loans to their members. Like Indore Urban Cooperative Bank is also giving membership loans to the members only, from which exchange which starts from rupees 25,000 and up to 1 lakh rupees. It depends upon the guarantee which is kept by the member in exchange of the loans. Mr. Joshi was thinking about starting new banking facilities like NEFT and RTGS, as the cooperative bank was at the local level. So the management was not taking interest in starting the modern banking in the bank. And Mr. Joshi was also forcing the management to appoint new and qualified, technically trained people in the bank so that we can go for more efficient customer service. Mr. Joshi was thinking about starting new banking facilities like NEFT and RTGS and more trading in government securities. The cooperative banks as well as all types of banks have to maintain their statutory liquidity ratio, as we all know, and for that the government securities are being traded by the cooperative banks. The government securities are traded by a particular efficient person who is well aware about the stock market and the positions and the ups and downs of the stock market, and he is authorized to make the dealings in the government securities. He can sell and purchase the government securities and earn profits according to in that particular transaction also. The management was not in favor to appoint new, young and technically qualified employees. See, it is the need of the hour that the bank must provide good customer service to the customers and members, because nowadays the customer is not waiting for the delay in the transactions. He can say, the customer is very powerful, he can say that wind up my account from your bank and I will open my account with the different bank, that they are giving me more and more facilities and more fast service. The ATM within the city was also proposed by the CEO. The chief executive officer was interested in extending the service providing criteria and also increasing the efficiency mode of the employees in the bank. The management asked to prepare a detailed financial data statement for last 5 years. It was asked to the CEO. Now, the financial performance of IUCBL is here. The bank reported the loss in 2016 and 17. The loss was rupees 20 and 35 lakhs. It started earning profit from 2018 onwards and earned rupees 15.78 lakhs profit in 2018. The total cost reduction was taken as a serious mission by the bank CEO, and he was successful in 2018 for the first time and in 2019. The interest income was low before 2018 because the bank had a loss before 2018, but the interest income was increased after 2018. The NPA was successfully managed after 2017, and it was reduced to 11.37 lakhs in 2018. See, here I would like to mention that the non-performing assets is a very crucial issue in the field of banking. The Reserve Bank of India has made a very strict guideline to maintain the NPA, where the bank must have the non-performing assets. It means their loans account. The loans are the assets for the banks. And here, the rule of Reserve Bank of India is that any bank who has more than 50% non-performing assets, then it should be taken in a danger zone. And RBI starts warning that bank that control your non-performing assets, otherwise we will cancel your banking license. So the NPA was also successfully managed. NPA, the non-performing assets, is called a double-edged sword in the banking sector, because at one side it reduces the interest income of the bank because the loan account is non-performing and customers are not depositing the installments regularly, and at the same time against the NPA accounts the bank has to maintain the provision in their profit and loss account, which is very dangerous for a bank. So it is called a double-edged sword. At one side it reduces your interest income, at the same time it is reducing your profit also, because the provision is to be created against the non-performing loans. The Reserve Bank has a very strict rule that any loan which is being non-performing, it means any customer, if he delays the installment, single installment is being delayed above 90 days, then that whole account is being transferred to the non-performing assets category, and it becomes very difficult for the bank to recover it. The liquidity was also down in 2017 and 18, but again increased in 2019 up to 795.5 lakhs. The bank declared 8% dividend to the shareholders in 2018 and 19. As we all know that dividends are always declared out of profits. So it started earning profits since 2018, and they declared the 8% dividend. The board of directors were thinking about improving the financial performance of Indore Urban Cooperative Bank Limited. They asked Mr. Joshi, the CEO, to present the 5 years analysis report in the annual general meeting of the bank. Mr. Anil Joshi is now looking for the person who will be able to analyze the financial performance of the bank and suggest for improvement. Now, the questions which are in the end of the case studies, that do a SWOT analysis of Indore Urban Cooperative Bank Limited. Second question is that evaluate and comment on the financial performance of Indore Urban Cooperative Bank Limited with the help of Camel's model as an expert. Here, I would like to add that Camel's model is a very popular model to judge the financial performance of a financial institution. It was invented in United States in the decade of 1980s, and Reserve Bank has considered it as an ideal criteria to measure the financial performance of the bank. Camels means C stands for the capital adequacy, A stands for the asset position, asset quality, M stands for the management efficiency, and E stands for the earning trades like profits, and L stands for the liquidity, and S stands for the sensitivity to the market risk. So this can be taken as a main criteria for judging the financial performance. And the last question is that suggest how the bank can further improve the financial performance in future. The target audience for this case study is the students and faculties and bank officials studying the financial performance of the bank. This case can be discussed when a faculty teaches subjects like bank management and risk analysis in banking sector. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Manish sir. Pavnesh sir? Pavnesh sir, are you here? Now at the last of this program, I invite Professor Pulkit Yadav for vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, all. I feel honored and privileged to get the opportunity to propose the vote of thanks on this special occasion. I would like to thank all the honorable delegates who blessed us with their presence. I'm very much thankful to Dr. Pavnesh Kumar sir for your guidance and time. I'm also very much thankful to all the program advisory committee members and the invited speakers. Words are not enough to thank their constant guidance and support to shape the conference. I, on the behalf of organizing committee, convey deep regards and heartily thanks to Honorable Director Sir, and I'm also Honorable Principal Sir, Dr. Rajesh Vyas Sir, and Vice Principal Dr. Rajesh Shah Sir. They supported us in all possible manners to organize the conference. My special thanks to Dr. Saurabh Jain Sir, Chairman and CEO Research Foundation of India, for his gracious presence. My sincere thanks to Professor Dr. Ashok Kumar Gupta, CMD Research Foundation of India. I would like to thank our head of department, Dr. Kiran Panchal, for her constant help and guidance. I am very much thankful to all our faculty and colleagues and non-teaching staff members who always stand by us when motivated us. I am very much thankful to the Research Foundation of India. It would have been impossible to organize with their support. At last, thanks to all of you for making this event successful. Thank you so much. Okay, today's session is over. You can join the session for the next tomorrow at 11 a.m. Thank you so much for joining.